Hello dear students, this is Srimati ASHWINI as Assistant Professor of Mathematics. In the previous session, we had seen the definition of subsequences and few theorems. In this session, let's learn problems on subsequences. Before that, let's see the nature of sequences. If all the subsequences of a sequence an diverges to plus infinity or minus infinity, only then the sequence an diverges to plus infinity or minus infinity. That is, if subsequence is divergent, then the sequence itself is divergent. The second point says, if the subsequence is a to n minus 1 and sequence a to n of a sequence n converges to the same limit L, then the sequence itself converges to L. Now let's solve the problems. Test the convergence of the sequence whose nth term is given by xn is equal to 1 plus of minus 1 whole power n. Here we are supposed to find x2n and x2n minus 1. So let's find out x2n. So wherever we have n, we are replacing it by 2n. So I get xn is equal to 1 plus of minus 1 to the power of 2n. Let's take the limits on both sides as n tends to infinity. So limit n tends to infinity, x2n is equal to limit n tends to infinity 1 plus of minus 1 to the power of 2n. You know 2n is an even number. So as and when n takes the value, minus 1 of an even number is always plus 1. So we get limit n tends to infinity, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. We conclude that therefore x2n is convergent and converges to 2. Now let's see the next step, which is we would be finding the limit n tends to infinity for x2n minus 1. So in the given problem, replace n by 2n minus 1, we would be getting limit n tends to infinity 1 plus of minus 1 to the power of 2 minus 1. And whatever the values n takes, you know that particular term becomes a minus 1. So limit n tends to infinity, minus 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore, x2n minus 1 is also convergent and converges to 0. Therefore, x2n and x2n minus 1 are convergent to two different limits. Hence, xn is not convergent. Since it is not convergent, it is oscillatory. The next problem, test the convergence of the sequence whose nth term is xn is equal to n plus of minus 1 whole power n divided by n. So let's write down 2n, replace n by 2n. So before limit, just write x2n is equal to 2n plus of minus 1 raised to 2n divided by 2n. Now minus 1 whole power 2n would always be even, as the condition itself says it is even, so it is plus 1. So we get 2n plus 1 divided by 2n, which on taking common factor I would be getting it as 1 plus 1 by 2n. Now let's take limit as n tends to infinity x to n. This is equal to limit n tends to infinity 1 plus 1 by 2n, which is equal to 1 plus 0, which is equal to 1. Therefore, x to n is convergent and converges to 1. Now let's consider x to n minus 1. Wherever we have n, replace it by 2n minus 1. So minus 1 raised to 2n minus 1 is a negative function. So this on simplification gives me 2n minus 2 divided by 2n minus 1. So after solving this problem by taking 2n outside, I would be getting it as 2n into 1 minus 1 by n divided by 1 minus 1 by 2n. 2n gets cancelled. Later on, we apply limit as n tends to infinity, x to n minus 1 would be equal to 1. So we have proved that x to n and x to n minus 1 are both convergent to the same limit 1. Therefore, xn is also convergent and converges to 1. Let's see another problem wherein the problem says Test the convergence of the sequence whose nth term is xn is equal to minus 1 raised to n minus 1 divided by n. So next what we do is we find the value of x to n. So this would be minus 1 to the power of 2n minus 1 divided by 2n. Now since you have minus 1 raised to 2n minus 1, it's a negative number. So we get minus 1 by 2n. So when limits n tends to infinity, 1 by 2n becomes 0. Therefore, x to n is convergent and convergence to 0. Let's find out x to n minus 1. Replace n by 2n minus 1. So I get minus 1 raised to 2n minus 2 divided by 2n minus 1. Since you have 2n minus 2, you know it's an even number. Therefore, we get 1 divided by 2n minus 1. Therefore, limit n tends to infinity, x to n minus 1 is 0. Therefore, x to n minus 1 is convergent and converges to 0. Here, x to n and x to n minus 1 are convergent to the same limit 0. Therefore, xn is also convergent and convergence to 0. So, these are the few references used.